It's a pretty special day, isn't it, to honor all of these people that we have watched race for so long, or those of you who have been fortunate enough to race with them. I am especially honored to be able to announce the induction of Wild Bill Slater. Wasn't it fun to watch him race? I mean, he was something really special. I remember sitting in a grandstand at the London Waterford Speedball. They announced the name Wild Bill Slater, and at least 80% of the people booed, and I couldn't figure out why. I'd read in the newspaper this guy was a big winner, and then I watched him race, and I understood almost immediately. He was just better than the rest of them. You'd watch Bill come off the corner, and everybody else, their car is all out of shape, and the back end's bouncing off the wall, and Bill would just wait for the right opportunity and just gently and carefully slide by, never touch anybody else, take the trophy down there at Victory Lane, and go off and beat him again the next night some other place. He was one hell of a race driver, a natural talent, a thinking race driver, a very special guy behind the wheel for sure. But I think Bill's greatest contributions didn't necessarily come from driving all those race cars. They came from being one of the great ambassadors of this sport. And when you think of what Bill Slater has given to automobile racing, particularly in this part of the country, he has given it all but his very life. And did he not come very close to giving it, that too, that awful night at Thompson Speedway when he was hit by Fats Caruso? Stafford Speedway right now would probably be a parking lot or a shopping mall. It surely wouldn't be what it is now if Bill Slater didn't take it upon himself to persuade Jack Arute that the smartest thing he could possibly do in his life was buy that racetrack and run it for the next, 30 years and then some, and still going? And all those trade shows where racetracks didn't go to trade shows and Bill Slater did, and he parked that pace car right out in front so that everybody who went in, the first thing they saw was that pace car. And all the drivers, Bill Slater has quietly put a hand on the shoulder and given a little bit of advice. And all the people who might not have been such good fans, had Bill Slater not been there to turn the show around, to make things happen, and to push the message of automobile racing. Great driver? Absolutely. Great ambassador? Absolutely. One of the most special people to ever strap on a helmet or to ever operate a racetrack. And doesn't Thompson Speedway look pretty damn smart right about now, hiring him to be their race director for 1998? Very special guy. The Connecticut Valley Rocket, Wild Bill Slater.
Wait a minute. He says, I don't like to talk. You guys don't realize, but one night he announced at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Yeah, but it's walk.
Did you understand it? And no, this is the way it happened. They said, Bill, we don't have an announcer. He said, no problem, I'll do it. He got on, he says, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stafford Motor Speedway. My name is Bill Slater, and I'll be your announcer this evening. There's the green flag. Look at them sons of bitches go.
They're excited. I got some notes here, but I ain't my glasses to read them, so I'm in trouble. The first people I want to introduce, okay, that's my help. I want to introduce the guys who helped me put me here. There's Bob Victari, Vic Bombassi, the owner of the V8s, which if I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. And my pit crew, John Bain, Pete Zanardi, that's a hell of a crew, and Dennis McLaughlin, and all the guys who helped put me here. So if it wasn't for Bob and Vic Bombassi, there would be no V8. So I want to thank them. And I want to thank Nira. I want to thank NERA, which I've been a member of since it first started. I thought it was a good idea at the time. I still think it's a good idea. It brought out a lot of people, and the NERA deserves a lot of credit, and I wish you'd give them a clap to all the committee and everybody else for going to NERA. I drove race cars for a number of years, too many years maybe. And after I quit driving race cars, Jack DeRoot talked me into running Stafford Speedway, which I did. And that was a history in itself. And then I've been involved in that part of the business. And oh, I can see. And I want to thank, right now, I'm involved in Stafford Speedway with Mark Root. And I want to thank the Root Brothers for making it a family track, and I consider myself part of the Root Brothers Stafford Speedway racetrack. And why don't you ask Dick Berger and Bruce Cole and the rest of them, when they started the Sizzler, they conned me into taking a Stafford pace car and put up posters. You wouldn't believe where we put up the posters. They had a massage parlor in Rockville. They wouldn't even put up posters in the massage parlor. Right. So what made credit go right now is the Bob Victari, Vic Bombassi, and Marvin Rifkin of M&H Tire, who supplied the tires for the V8 since day one. So give Marvin a hand right now. Can I quit?
It's your podium. How long you want to go?
Not very long. And I want to thank my son, my daughter-in-law, my granddaughter for being here, and my cousins and everything else for being here, and I thank them all for being here. Right?
Dick, you gotta come back up, and first we want Bill to hang this on the wall, and then we're going to ask you to move to the center here for a photo for the photographers. But while you're hanging that on the wall, Bill, I'm going to tell another story on you. Back when Stafford was too cheap to have two ambulances, and Bill was there, a lady passed out on the Midway, and there was a race going on at the time. So Bill, being the guy that can always figure it out, gets a beer cart at the top of the hill and loads this lady who was of ample girth. For those of you who don't know what that means, she was fat. Loads her on the beer cart and radios into the infield as soon as the race is over, have the ambulance, oh my God, meet me at the pit gate. So he's pushing this lady down and he keeps going to her, don't die on me now, lady, there's only 3 laps to go.